The journey of a lobster from the ocean to your plate is a fascinating one that involves skilled fishermen, intricate traps, and a touch of culinary magic. In this episode, we'll be exploring every step of the process from the moment it's hauled aboard the boat until it's plated in front of you. Stay tuned for an inside look at the world of lobster fishing. Fact: male lobsters are typically larger than females. This is why in many places, only male lobsters are kept for sale. Females are often returned to the sea to ensure the survival of the species. The first step in the life cycle of a lobster is hatching. When the female lobster releases her eggs into the water, they will hatch into tiny larvae known as post-larvae. These little guys are just 2 millimeters long and have a transparent body that makes them pretty hard to spot. They spend their first few weeks floating around in the ocean, eating plankton and getting bigger. Eventually, they settle down on the seabed where they undergo several molts as they grow larger. It takes about 3 months for them to reach maturity and begin their adult life as benthic lobsters. At this stage, they start to take on the classic lobster look with a hard shell and large claws. However, even after reaching this stage, they will continue to molt throughout their lives as they grow larger and larger. Some lobsters can live for more than 100 years and keep growing bigger and bigger. Now you know how big a lobster can get. Check out our other videos about the biggest animals on Earth. There are 2 main types of traps used to catch lobsters: wire and soft. Wire traps are made from metal and have sharp edges, which means that the lobsters can't chew through them to escape. Instead, they're designed so that the lobsters can easily pull them apart. Once inside, the lobsters are met with an enticing smell that entices them to go deeper inside the trap. Here they find bait, which they start eating right away. As they eat, the trap starts closing in on them, eventually trapping them inside. Soft traps, on the other hand, are made from plastic or fiberglass and are more difficult for lobsters to chew through. Instead, they use a combination of bait funnels and a sliding door to trap the lobsters. The whole trap is usually submerged underwater, but the top part can float above the surface so that the fishermen can easily pull it up. Once the trap is full of lobsters, the fisherman holds it aboard and sorts through the catch. Any lobsters that are too small or damaged are thrown back into the ocean. The rest are placed on ice to keep them fresh until they can be processed. Now that the lobsters have been caught, it's time to prepare them for market. First, they need to be killed, which is done by either a quick plunge into boiling water or a sharp blow to the head. This ensures that the lobsters are as fresh and delicious as possible. Once they've been killed, the lobsters need to be cleaned and sorted. This is usually done by hand, and it's an important step because it removes any unwanted parts of the lobster, such as the stomach or intestinal tract. It also allows the processors to sort the lobsters by size and weight, which is important for pricing and shipping purposes. After cleaning, the lobsters are usually frozen so that they can be stored and shipped more. Some lobsters are also cooked at this stage so that they're ready to eat when they repurchased. When it comes to selling lobsters, there are 2 main options for the processors: live or frozen. Live lobsters are usually sold to restaurants or seafood markets that will cook them fresh for their customers. Frozen lobsters are sold to individuals who want to cook them at home. Lobsters can be sold by weight, usually in whole numbers between 1 and 10 pounds. They can also be sold by the piece, in which case they're usually priced based on their size. No matter how they're sold, lobsters are a high-priced item, and it is not unusual for a lobster dinner to cost upwards of $50 per person. When you buy live lobsters, you should always ask your fishmonger how they should be stored and prepared. They may recommend keeping the lobsters in a cool, dark place until you're ready to cook them. You'll also want to make sure that the lobsters are well hydrated. This is important because if the lobsters are too dry, they may not survive the cooking process. One way to tell if lobsters are well hydrated is to lift them up and see if they move their claws. If they do, then they're probably still alive and will likely survive cooking. Once you bought your lobsters, it's time to cook them. This is an important step because it will affect the flavor and texture of the meat. Lobsters should be cooked by boiling or steaming them. This helps to preserve their shape and ensures that they're cooked evenly. It's also important not to overcook lobsters, as this can make the meat tough and rubbery. To prevent this, you can use a meat thermometer to make sure that the lobsters are cooked to the proper temperature. When cooking live lobsters, you should always put them in cold water first, then bring the water to a boil. This helps to prevent the lobsters from going into shock and ensures that they're cooked more evenly. It's also important to cover the pot while the lobsters are cooking. This helps to steam the lobsters and keep them moist. Finally, you'll want to remove the lobsters from the pot as soon as they're cooked. This prevents the meat from becoming tough and rubbery. But what about lobsters that have already been cooked? These can be heated up in the microwave or in a saucepan of boiling water. Just be careful not to overheat them, as this can still make the meat tough and rubbery. So now you know how lobsters are caught and cooked. But how exactly do they end up on your plate? Well, that all depends on the type of dish you're making. Lobsters are incredibly versatile ingredients and can be used in a wide variety of recipes. They're often served as a main course in dishes, like lobster thermidor or lobster bisque. They can also be used in salads, pastas, and ribs. And let's not forget about lobster rolls, a summertime staple in many coastal communities. No matter how they're prepared, lobster is sure to be a delicious and impressive meal. When preparing lobster meat, you'll first need to crack the shell. This can be done by tapping the lobster on a hard surface or by using a lobster cracker. Once the shell is cracked, you can remove the meat and cut it into smaller pieces. If desired, lobster meat is often served cold, so it's common to chill it before serving. This helps to firm up the meat and make it easier to handle. To chill lobster meat, simply place it in a bowl or container and refrigerate for a few hours. Once it's chilled, you can serve it up in whatever dish you've chosen. If you're looking for some inspiration, there are endless lobster recipes available online and in cookbooks. Whether you're a beginner in the kitchen or a seasoned chef, you're sure to find a lobster recipe that's perfect for you. So next time you're craving some delicious seafood, why not try a lobster? With its unique flavor and impressive presentation, it's sure to be a hit with your family and friends. And if you love learning about the process behind your favorite foods, stay tuned for more episodes. We explore everything from coffee to cheese to chocolate. You never know what you might learn. So click the subscribe button and join us for more culinary adventures. But for now, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for joining us on this episode of How It's Made. We hope you learned something new and we hope you're hungry for more. Until next time, happy cooking! Now that you know how lobsters are caught and prepared, you're ready to enjoy your next lobster dinner like a pro. So the next time you dig into a juicy lobster tail or claw, take a moment to appreciate all the hard work that went into bringing that deliciousness to your plate. From the fishermen who braved the cold waters to the chefs who expertly cooked and seasoned the meat, every step of the process is important in creating the perfect lobster experience. So sit back, relax, and savor every bite of your next lobster meal. And don't forget to show your support for the hardworking folks who made it all possible. Whether that's leaving a good review for your favorite seafood restaurant or buying directly from a local fisherman, there are plenty of ways to show your appreciation. So go ahead and indulge in this delicious seafood. Just remember to thank the people who brought it to you.